Hi guys, so I'm sure by now you all know I absolutely love orcs of all shapes, sizes, and yeah, this one is a new one out by Puppets War. I'll leave a link down below, and this is Orc Emperor, and he's a beast of an orc, but just looks absolutely fantastic. So he's the one I'm going to be printing and painting today, using the good old Slapchop style painting technique that we all sort of know and love. Well, I certainly love it, that's for sure. As it's it's made me paint miniatures literally every day. I'm printing and painting something. But obviously, yeah, Puppets Wars, go and check them out on my mini factory. They do a whole variety of other bits and pieces, but obviously for me, yeah, it's their orcs. And again, what I love about this is they are sort of mix and matchable, so you can do the bodies, the heads, the arms, guns, all that kind of layout, all separately, as well as the fun ones they do, like the Batmobile you would have just quickly seen. So yeah, it's a case of printing them out. So I've taken them into my slicing software, and as you can see, yeah, glorious looking thing. All pre-supported, which is just awesome, because I know then I'm going to have no problems printing these, and no problems with the support removal. So I'm using my Sonic Mighty 8K, been using this for quite a while now. Absolutely gorgeous machine. Looking forward to trying out the Sonic Mini 8K machine soon, so yeah, keep an eye out for that. But obviously for this one, yeah, Sonic Mighty 8K, good old RPG resin. If you haven't seen me use this before, this stuff is glorious. Obviously awesome prints, but as you'll see soon, yeah, the bit of flexibility in both the miniature and definitely the supports, so they come off an absolute treat. So everything's printed, yeah, it didn't take too long at all, and then I've got all these glorious bits. So as you can see, they're in some warm water now, so these have been on the curing station to get rid of any excess resin. Then I put them in some warm water. This just helps soften the supports, although to be honest, these don't need any more softening, because as you can see, yeah, they bend rather than snap off, which is really nice. It also helps, like I was saying earlier, that these are pre-supported by, well, people who know what they're doing, as opposed to sometimes when I have to put supports on, yeah, generally they come off fine, but these ones, because they do a real finer point in where they contact the miniature, you get to see, well, you don't really get to see it at all, where the supports were on a miniature, which is just awesome. And yes, to anyone who's new watching my videos, I do say awesome quite a lot, because, well, I think everything is awesome and I love what I do, and I'm a big kid having so much fun. And talking about being new, yeah, if you haven't yet subscribed, it'd be awesome if you could hit that subscribe button and become a subscriber, as yeah, I am trying to sort of hit 100k subscribers, maybe this year, maybe next year, who knows. So yeah, gluing this, obviously normal sort of super glue, and as you can see, got my little extension there in the end of the super glue. Just makes it easier when I come to using it, that I can get it more sort of precise on where it needs to go. So yeah, because this is a resin sort of print, you do need to use super glue as opposed to any kind of these sort of contact sort of glue that you'd use, well, for your good old Warhammer miniatures and that sort of stuff. So yeah, it doesn't take too long at all, sort of gluing this little chap together. And I just love how much detail there is in this miniature, and I say, I do love orcs. They generally are big, chunky, and yeah, just amazing looking. So that's this guy ready to paint. So obviously I need to put him on something to make it easier to sort of hold. And yeah, I've got the, well, I've again 3D printed everything. I love 3D printers. So yeah, I 3D print some sort of like miniature holders, but obviously you can use, well, any kind of little bottles or anything really you can get your hands on. And everything I'm doing now that I didn't used to do, sometimes I used to glue the miniatures on, or I'd use blue tack. The blue tack sometimes was a bit wibbly wobbly, and the glue, well, sometimes that was a bit too strong. So what I'm using now is good old double-sided tape. You guys have probably been using it all the time. Again, I do try new things every now and then, and whenever I say new things, they're new to me. Yeah, I'm not reinventing the wheel or anything like that. I'm just doing something that probably people do, well, all the time. So this guy is rather large, and I say he's on an 80mm base, so I'm not sure which sort of character this could be used as in Warhammer. But again, this is the great thing about having 3D printers. You can scale things down or up, which is just awesome. So normally I use black sort of model primer by the Colour Forge, but I'm just trying out new things now with doing, say, the Slapchop painting technique. But now I'm going to go for a brown sort of, well, undercoat primer, and just sort of see what difference that kind of makes. As long as it's a relatively dark-ish colour, then yeah, I think it should work well. Although, yeah, the brown, must admit, it's kind of lighter than I thought, but hey-ho, we'll try these things out and, well, see how it goes. So now onto the dry brushing. I did do a video recently where I did a whole variety of different colours dry brushing to get different results. And as you can see there on my little dry brush, or textured dry brush palette, yeah, the previous colour was a luminous green. If you haven't seen that video, I paint 5 orcs differently. Well, the same colours, but different primer and different dry brushing. And yeah, the results were, yeah, very intriguing to say the least. So yeah, dry brushing, just go over the whole thing. Typically I try and do circular motions. Generally find when you do that you get less sort of chalky looks or scratching looks to the dry brushing. Although sometimes that can look good, especially on terrain or vehicles, having it almost look like it sort of scratches underneath, yeah, might work well. But yeah, generally if I can, circular motions. If not, then obviously you just have to do whatever you can do just to get some of the lighter colour on there. And that's him ready to paint. I say I absolutely love this style of painting, and obviously I've been using the Dipping Inks by Green Stuff World for quite a while now. Yeah, these go on really well. If you're new to Dipping Inks, one advice I would give is this is a lot more fluid than any other sort of speed paint out there. So when you are loading your brush up, be careful, because when you put too much on, this stuff will flow almost like the brush I've got. I do need to invest and get a few, in one way, even larger brushes still, gets into the nooks and just crannies, to help cover such a large and you area. Can build so up obviously this is a miniature, but it is quite yeah, sort of not translucent, on the larger size miniature than although if you'd seen a recent video, I have printed out a gargantuan of an orc. It's about 440mm in height. It's in parts and it just about fits on my desk. So yeah, I do need a very large brush for that, or maybe even use the Dipping Inks in an airbrush, which, yeah, to be honest, sounds like the better plan, I think. Just to mention, all the footage you will see of me painting in this video, or well, any other videos, is speeded up. Yeah, I mean, this style of painting is fast, but yeah, I don't paint well as fast as obviously you're watching it. I just speed it up just so, well, the videos aren't then too long, even though this video might still be, well, long. Anyway, that's enough waffling. Let's get back to painting. And as you can see, yeah, the Dipping Inks, they really do cover really well. And considering these are, well, they're almost half the price of some other sort of speed paints, contrast paints, all that kind of thing out there. Yeah, definitely great value for money. And they also do the larger pots, which I've got. And obviously I'll be using these when I'm painting that gargantuan orc. So yeah, the bigger pots are 60ml. But these almost cost around the same as the smaller 17mm or milliliters even in the other sort of like say brands of paints out there. So yeah, definitely go and check out the Green Stuff World Dipping Inks, because say value for money, yeah, they are up there. And now my favourite thing to paint, and that's the well, the actual orc itself. And the green that I love at the moment is Limelight Dip. Yeah, I just love how this looks. So it's a nice green. It's not too dark, not too light. It's, yeah, say it's definitely one of my favourites at the moment. That's not to say that tomorrow it won't be, because I do like trying out new sort of colours. And again, this is why I was messing about the other day doing different priming colours and different dry brushing sort of colours as well, just to sort of see the differences that it can be made in, well, the colour that goes over the top. So as always with most weapons, I like to just go over and do the black wash, and then probably sort of do some dry brushing with silver just to give it that sort of metallic look, and then pick out any colours that I may want to sort of, well, highlight on it, or just make bright and bold, because obviously this is an orc, and yeah, they do seem to like bright, bold weapon colour choices, which is just, yeah, lots of fun. So with this skeleton brown dip, this is one of those ones where sometimes you do need to give it a couple of coats, as the first coat of this is very light. So yeah, let it dry, it doesn't take too long at all. And then I went over and gave it yeah, gave it a second coat. And the great thing obviously is the Dipping Inks, yeah, no reactivation at all. You can literally paint something, leave it, let it dry, paint over it again, and yeah, all's good with it. So for his armour, yeah, I've gone with a green stone dip. I use this quite a bit on sort of metal sort of bits and pieces, only because his armour, rather than doing like a bright silver or anything, it kind of looks more like his armour's made, well, from stone. So yeah, that's why I've kind of gone over with a green stone dip. Again, this is another one, sometimes I do 2 coats of this. It really does depend on how sort of dark you want it to look. But yeah, certainly like using this stuff. And say for his armor, yeah, it does look more like his armor has been carved out of stone rather than made from metal. And for the base, I'm going to do the same sort of thing that I'm doing with his gun. So I'm going to paint it in the black and then do some dry brushing sort of over the top with some silver, just to give it that sort of, say, metallic kind of look. As this guy is an Orc Emperor, I certainly would love to see Puppets War miniatures make up some sort of, well, more gladiators for the Orcs, or maybe even like the Roman centurions. But with Orcs, yeah, I mean, I'd love to see that, because that would certainly be on my list to make for a kill team, as that would just look glorious. Because obviously, as well as like Dungeons and Dragons and Warhammer, the other thing I really love is kind of like Romans, Knights, all that kind of look. So yeah, putting some Orcs in that kind of outfit, yeah, definitely up my street. Yeah, so with the little dude down the bottom, I'm guessing he's kind of a Space Marine. Not all too sure. Obviously, he's a dead one, that's for sure. So yeah, I'm kind of going to keep him kind of how I always see Space Marines, and that's in blue. I know there are other sort of factions, chapters, whatever they're called, with different colours, but yeah, for me, keeping it nice and simple, as I always do, and just going with, well, a nice little blue. So when I first printed this guy out, I thought this bottom thing was the hair, but as it's not obviously attached to the sort of Space Marine's head, I'm kind of guessing this is some sort of like fur cloak that would be behind the dude. So yes, that's why I'm going with just, well, a brown sort of fur kind of look. If there are any sort of miniatures you guys would like to see me sort of paint, or print and paint, yeah, by all means let me know. I say, especially obviously if it is with Puppets War, because I've got access to all their glorious miniatures, as well as a few other sort of awesome designers over at my mini factory. Or maybe you've seen a miniature somewhere else. Yeah, let me know, guys, if you want to see me sort of paint anything in particular. I have got an idea for a large dragon that I'm looking at doing very soon. Not all too sure what colour to do the dragon. But again, yeah, any ideas you've got, yeah, well, let me know in the comments. It's always good to hear what you guys think about the videos I'm doing, or what you might want to see me sort of, well, attempt or try in the future. Apologies, I don't always respond to all messages. But I do sort of read all of them, just because obviously, yeah, I want to see what you guys think of what I'm doing and what you might want to see me do sort of coming up. So for his hair, really wasn't too sure what colour to go for, and in the end I've gone for my favourite colour, orange. I do know obviously Orcs don't have hair. These are, I always forget what they're called, but they're pets or something, aren't they? That they stick on their heads that are, well, just furry. Maybe I should look on Amazon and see if I can get one for myself. Anyway, back to this. Yeah, so it's going really well. So it doesn't take too long at all to paint miniatures these days, which is just fantastic because, yeah, I love making and painting little miniatures as well as doing some dioramas. So obviously there's a few of those coming up as well, guys. As I say, I generally have like a rough plan on, well, the kind of builds I'm going to be doing. And as always, I am working on about 3-4 sort of printing, painting things at once. And this is because obviously I love what I do. I do get very excited every day about making something new, painting something or printing something off, or just having a variety of things printed off and merged together. And that's kind of what my next video is going to be. It's going to be another one of those resin ones, so keep an eye out for that. And keep your fingers crossed that all goes well. Yeah, my ratio to hits and misses with resin at the moment is good. I'm getting more resin videos working than failing, but I think it's because I keep trying new things with resin, which is always fun. But yeah, that's sometimes where things can go a little bit wrong. Anyway, back to what I'm doing. There's a few bits here. I've just put a wash over. Again, I love washes. Yeah, before I got into like speed paints, dry brushing and washes, yeah, very much my go-to things. Absolutely loved them. And talking about doing a dry brushing, yeah, so this is where I've got a bit of silver here going over the gun. Even though I did say earlier, yeah, I do think his armour is more like stone than metal. I kind of went crazy and just dry brushed pretty much everything except his cloak and, well, his face. So yeah, dry brushing. I do get a bit carried away. But yeah, I like the idea of making everything look a little bit sort of metallic. And obviously this stuff, it does hit just the edges. So it gives a little bit of a shine on the edge, which is pretty cool. So yeah, this figure didn't take too long. I think I painted him probably quicker than it took to print him. But yeah, absolutely loved doing this guy. And I say, if they make some more sort of like Roman orcs, yeah, I will be making myself a kill team with those. And here we go. This is how he kind of looks. Although I wasn't too fussed about his little headpiece thing. I think it looked kind of like blended in too much of everything else being the yellow. So yeah, last minute little change to that. Just painted it silver just so, well, it stood out more. Although I guess really it should have been painted green, as that's kind of what it's made out of, isn't it? The old reef. But anywho, I don't know. I'm waffling. But yeah, love how this guy came out. And I say, he is just big and chunky. So I wouldn't have a clue what sort of, say, comparison this guy would be in Warhammer. If he is too big to be a boss leader, I'm not too sure. But again, like I said earlier, yeah, you can just scale things down to, well, whatever size you need. So this is where obviously putting them off. Yeah, the double-sided tape, I think I probably only needed like one strip on there. Because that stuff is, well, it is super strong. Definitely super sticky. But obviously the good thing is it comes off, doesn't break the miniature, which I did occasionally do when I put a little bit of glue on these guys to keep them on their the paint holder. So yeah, double-sided tape is definitely the way to go. And there he is. Yeah, really pleased how this guy came out. Hope you guys liked the video. Let me know down below. Again, if you want to see me do anything different, or if there's any miniature you want to see me have a go at painting, because you want to get ideas of, well, how to look, or how it could look, yeah, let me know in the comments down below. So, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Yeah, you guys take care. I'll see you in the next one. I'm off to, well, print some more stuff. Bye for now.